somewhere in early December, a coworker and we started talking about 3D printing. And one of my other coworker's niece was like 12 years old, and she made this little fidget thing. And they had been trying to make the same thing with a printer that we have at work, and they weren't having any luck with it. But I started digging into printers and stuff like that, and I got to thinking that, they're pretty cool. So every year, I usually set aside a little bit of money to buy myself something in the beginning of the year, like some kind of a toy, basically. Like I bought my vinyl machine, a computer to support it, and like 300 12-inch rolls of Oracle 651 to basically practice and make my stuff for. And so this year, I had been doing a lot of research and looking at Bamboo Labs, Elegoo's, and all that stuff. And then I came across the Anycubic, which you can see right now is printing. So I watched a few videos, some different things with it. I watched another video from an individual that basically said, if you're going to get into 3D printing, think long term of what you really want to do and accomplish, and try to price your spot in there. And I've always kind of been that way, where I probably look further ahead most of the time than I should. And it's kind of like I didn't want to spend a couple $100 on something and outgrow it, right? I wanted to have something that was already full grown and I could grow within it. So right around the end of probably the first week of January, I finally decided that this Anycubic was coming out with the Cobra S1, and it wasn't Anycubic, from what I've seen, is a very proven company as far as their 3D printing stuff goes. I think there was something going on with Bamboo Labs at the time, because I was really looking at the Bamboo, their big cabinet printer. Basically, the one I have is in the picture above me, and that's kind of the one I was looking at with the Bamboo as well. But there was some stuff going on and little things that I didn't really want to dig into or take a chance with. I think they did something with the firmware, which fried it, which as a software tester, I completely know that there's times where things happen, and I get that. So I got in on the pre-purchase, and I pre-purchased the Cobra S1, and it was supposed to come with 4 filament. It comes with the Ace Pro on top. Well, it doesn't come with it on top. You set it on top or beside it, wherever you want, really. But I bought that because I'm like, if I'm gonna get into this and I'm gonna grow, because I know I'm gonna like it, because I'm a guy that likes gadgets. I like learning. I like doing little neat shit for myself. So I knew that once I got it, that I was gonna get deeper into it than I needed to. So I wasn't really worried about whether or not I was gonna like it. So I spent the pre-purchase money. I got $30 off on it, and got the 4 rolls of filament to go with it. And then then I just waited. And my ship date, because of when I ordered it, my ship date was like February 20th to the 28th or something like that. So to spend the amount of money that I spent to get this, I was pretty leery on that. And the worst part about it was, any of us that had pre-purchased were basically just waiting for the Ace Pro. From what I had seen, the printer itself was already sitting in the warehouse. They already had those, but they didn't have the combos ready, I guess. So anyways, February 28th or so, I went on the Anycubic website and realized that it had shipped. So the next day, or it might have been actually March 1st, I guess, it showed up, which was surprising because I didn't expect it to be there that fast. I got it, super excited, big box. And I had never, so I work for a company that builds plasma cutters. and we build our own CNCs to basically run CNC tables with X, Y, and Z. So I'm very familiar with the motion, the G codes, stuff like that. So when I pulled this out of the box, I was pretty impressed with how it was packaged. There was no issues with it. The thing was really well done. A very quick little sheet to follow to take the screws out. I had one small little thing. Well, I took all the screws out, because you take a couple screws out, you pull the Anycubic, the Ace Pro out of the top. I'm sure you've seen some unboxing videos. Then there's a plastic plate with some screws in it. And so I followed the arrows, took the screws out, picked the thing up. I put it in my closet because I knew it was fairly quiet, but I wanted something that if I wanted to do a long print, I could just have it in a closet. It wouldn't. I have a huge walk-in closet, so it's almost like it's almost like another room in a way. So it's not going to overheat in there. And so anyway, so I put it in there, and I started going through the kind of the calibration part of it, and it was grinding. It wasn't really moving, but it wasn't giving me anything to show that it wasn't doing anything. And that's when I noticed that I missed 3 screws that held the base plate down. So basically the thread screws, the 3 thread screws that lift the bed, they were trying to lift the bed, but the bed wouldn't lift. So I felt like I almost destroyed the damn thing, because the arrows that pointed to the screws, they pointed to the other screws that you took out previously as well. It wasn't until I really started looking at it that I realized that there was 2 sets of arrows, and that I just basically missed, I missed 3 screws. So I pulled those 3 screws out, ran through the whole thing. I think it took like 15 minutes. Since that time, so we're talking March 1st, this thing has run every day. So I've done some 9-hour prints, 15-hour prints, and currently right now it's another 9-hour or 8.5 hour print. Basically what I'm making now is, in my garage, I have a lot of grinding wheels, and I hang those grinding wheels with nails. I have nails all over the place with grinding wheels hanging on them. And I want to do some cleanup. So I found these models. I could show you. Basically these models right here. I found these on the Anycubic Maker online thing. So I'm printing them so that I can take those nails out of my staircase and all that stuff and put my grinding wheels in there. Because I go-kart race, I found this little thing, which I thought was pretty cool. And we're going to have a car show coming up, but I'm going to print a ton of these out for people to take. I'm playing around trying to put my number on the side, but I haven't really done any multicolor print yet, because of the amount of waste the filament goes. I haven't really needed to. A friend of mine used some CAD and made a hook so I can hang my helmet. So I printed out a black one for one of my friends, a blue one for another friend, and then an orange one for mine because my cage is orange. So I'm doing functional things with it. So when I first got it, I printed a bunch of different fidget toys for people at work, myself. I found it sometimes sitting in meetings, it's nice to have something. So I did the little dinosaur that comes with it. I did the little tree that you screw in and out for an inside outside type of thing. I did a couple of those. And that was the first thing my wife said to me was, "Is this just an overpriced toy maker?" And I'm like, no, I there's a lot of things I want to do with it. It's just a matter of basically playing and learning. That's all I want to do, is just learn how to use it. I have had 0 issues with this machine. Regardless of the Facebook pages, it's like you read the Facebook pages and all you see is the negatives, and nobody takes time out of their day to post the positives because they're too busy using their unit or their system. And so far, from a beginner standpoint, this thing has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've had one bad print, and it's only because I've been watching Macy Makes. I think it's Macy Makes, and she uses Overture, and I've been using nothing but Anycubic Pet G. So I made a poop shoot out the back, and to basically just bring the poop around to the front so it's easier to clean up. I bought some gray matte finish PLA for that. I made that with that. And then everything else I bought was PETG, because I'm like, I don't want to be limited by just having, and because I don't want to have thousands of rolls, which I know at some point I'm going to get there. I wanted to go with just PETG, one thing. So, I have orange, I have green, I have black, blue, white, and then I have the PLA and the matte gray, which was basically for that. I was also, at some point I'm going to build a riser. I'm going to use that same stuff for it. So basically I bought that for making a scraper, or just doing different things for the printer itself. I also, because I'm a huge Division fan, I came across this. So I printed this out. This is really cool because it actually, this orange almost glows. It's kind of cool. I didn't do the white at the top because I didn't know at the time that I had to paint. I had to go into this program and basically paint the white so that it would print white. I didn't know that. I also printed a headphone holder. It says headphones on it, but it's got a cool little texture on it, and there was really no weeding for it. So I can hang my thing, because I had this big industrial hook that I was using, and I want to use the industrial hook out in my garage. But I've been printing things that just having a lot of fun with it. The only issue, and I haven't changed any settings. I haven't gotten into any of that stuff. But when I ordered the Overture, I ordered like a grass green or something like that, because it's going to match another friend of mine's roll cage, which is like a fluorescent yellow. So I tried doing that. I didn't make any changes to it. I just ran it. And when I got looking afterwards, when the print failed, basically I was printing a hook. I was printing one of these. And when I pulled it out, it was like a sponge, almost like when you have the planter sponge, like when you do fake flowers and you stick them in that little foam. That's what it felt like when I picked it up. It was very brittle, and every basically strand was a piece that you just kind of broke apart. Kind of like a shredded wheat. That's basically what it was. It came out like a shredded wheat hook, and as soon as you touched it, you could feel that it was just going to crumble. So I went back and looked at the settings, and I realized that the plate needed to be warmer, and the overall nozzle temp had to be like 20 degrees hotter. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to play around a little bit. I just didn't want to change any settings, because I've liked so far every print that I've made. And like I said, this thing has done a lot of 9-hour prints, 8-hour prints. It's done several short prints. I made little wire clips, or basically gas line clips. I did a nest of those. I've printed some of those plastic rivets for your fender wells and stuff like that on a car. I actually found a guy that made all the ones for my car. And I had a few that were missing. So, I made a bunch of those, and I basically just been looking around the house. A friend of mine has a ton of tie down straps. So I made a couple clips. So when he rolls the tie down strap, he can just slide it right in. Basically just nonstop. And this thing has been absolutely awesome. It's, like I hate, it's like anything else. It's like, I hate it when they go, oh, it's a bamboo killer. It's not. It's an option. It's an option for those that want to do, I don't know how to say the same thing, right? But similar things for a little, possibly less money. And maybe the same amount of headaches. It's fundamentally, it's the same thing. Functionally, it's the same thing. So it's going to have the same issues. I don't care what brand it is. It's going to have issues. The biggest issue that I have is I enjoy the end result, and I'm not super patient. So when I throw something in for an 8-hour print, it's like I'm checking on it all the time. So it's just one of them things. It's like, it's addicting to the point where I want all the filament, and I want to print everything I see. And I'm wondering if one is enough for me. So currently right now, we have 20 by 20 bedroom. And my computer sits in one corner with all my monitors and stuff for my streaming and that kind of stuff. And then I put this thing in the closet, which is about the size of a dorm fridge, basically. And I have my vinyl cutter right here next to my desk. So when I'm in work mode, my bedroom has a table set up and I'm doing all this stuff. And so I'm at the point now where I'm going to have to put a shop together. I have a huge gambrel style garage, but it's kind of messy out there because of the projects that I do. So I don't really want to stick any of this stuff out there. So I'm pondering if I build a shop in the upstairs or if I just build another shop out in my backyard that is dedicated to all these things with its own heater. We'll move everything into there and just start prepping for when I finally decide that I want to retire from working for other people and just start working for myself. I don't see myself basically, like, I've looked a little bit at like an Etsy store and stuff like that. I don't really see myself doing that. I see myself using this to make a lot of things for go-karters and stuff like that at my local track, and shops and stuff like that. Like when this print's done tomorrow morning, I'm going to kick off one to basically divide my wrenches in my toolbox, because my toolboxes have gotten to be just miserable. Like, everybody has more screwdrivers than they ever need. So I'm going to basically make wrench dividers, and this thing is going to be basically pumping out wrench dividers, screwdriver things, and just toolbox things in general. So I can organize my shop a little bit better and make some better things. I got some desk things that I'm going to make for certain things. And just overall, just ease of life things. I mean, there's a ton of things that I could do here in the house. I haven't quite nailed down any that, I did order a translucent blue, and I'm going to, basically make my mother this huge, as big of a planner as I can, which is a 250 by 250 by 250 is the space that I have. So I'm going to make myself, it's going to be the biggest print that I've done so far. It's this huge planner. It's a really nice flower pot, and I'm going to make that, just for the sake of making it. And there's this wolf silhouette that I found, and my mother-in-law is huge into wolves. So I'm gonna do that. That'll be my first color change one, because that's gonna be, there's a white wolf and a black wolf, and so I'm probably gonna do that. And just print one just to see what it does. I know my wife had asked me what I was gonna do with all the strands, and I said, "You mean the poop?" Yeah. So I have a box. I'm using a filament box right now, and I'm putting all the PET G that I've accumulating into that box. And that's kind of why I stuck with PET G, because I only wanted to have one source of a mess, basically. And I didn't want to mess around with my settings all the time. And I'm not going to do, I don't need to do any ASA or any of that stuff. I'm basically sticking myself to PET G and PLA until I possibly have a shop that I can ventilate and do, more robust stuff, maybe, or when the need comes. But anyways, I just wanted to, I've been watching a lot of videos on this, and I've been monitoring. I'm in 2 Facebook groups, which is too many, because my Facebook is completely compiled of Anycubic stuff. Like, I don't think I've seen a single post from anybody that I know since I've joined those 2 groups. So, but it's interesting because there's not many positive posts in the group, but when somebody posts a negative, there's usually thousands of positive posts underneath the negatives. So, like I said, this thing has been plug and play since I got it. I'm going on almost a month. I'm only almost a month. And like I said, I have had, the only issue I had was user. That was the only issue that I had. I did try to print something without supports. And I just was going by basically like when you basically take the system and you let it, when you first open it up, you get this, and it just shows it laid out. And I went trying to think what it was I did. Yeah, this is what I'm printing right here. So from WeWay. So thanks for making these. They look pretty awesome, and I can't wait to put them in the shop. But I don't know if I have. Use a hook. So that's a hook that we designed. This is the little tree that I made. I was kind of playing around with this. I don't know actually. These hooks right here is what I made for my buddy. For his tie down straps. This is the. No, I don't want to do that. This is the poop chute that I made. There's another piece that goes to it. It's a two piece print. So, and I get, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like right there. So the piece goes here and it hooks on the back and comes down through. The thing's freaking awesome. So EZAS, thanks a lot. I think it's great. But anyways, so when I put the hose clamp things down, I just put them down with no supports because I needed it to spring or whatever. And I didn't lay them on their side. I just naturally let them go. Same with this hook. So when I put the hook on the bed, it went like this, and it put a support under here, and then it tried to print. It did a print here, which wasn't bad. But then I switched it to the side, and it print perfect. So a lot of it is, me. If there's been a hang up so far, it's been me. But the hose clamps that I did, they have an overhang, and I threw them down. I cloned 10 of them, and then I ran it. And when I came back in, it was actually printing the little tab in the air that it had, basically the loop had to connect to. It was actually printing those. And I probably had maybe 5 of them that were going to make it. But the other 5, that when the tip went by, it must have bumped one, and it pulled them all off the back one. So I stopped the print, I reorientated it to its side, and I printed them again, and they were absolutely flawless. So it's a really cool thing. You can see I have these RCs over. Well, I can't see it because I got a picture in the way. I think I can swivel it around maybe so you can see it. Yeah, so it's got these little go-kart things because I'm going to do them again. I'm going to do them in 10. But so anyways, that's it. If you're looking at 3D printers, the Anycubic Kobra S1 to me is a great product and should not be considered the bamboo killer. It should be just considered another option. And like I said, this is my very first printer. I've never used a printer before I got this one, and it's just been, like I said, it's been so easy. So anyways, I know it's not my normal content. Kind of like when I did the Indian motorcycle thing, but when something strikes me, I feel like I gotta get into it. And so I just wanted to give props to these guys. This print has 5.5 hours left, and I'll have 2 awesome grinding wheel things. I actually started playing around with Tinkercad. I want to do my own stuff. I don't want to just print other people's things. So I'm gonna play around with that. Because I have some things that I've been looking on all the different websites and I haven't found yet that I think would be pretty helpful. So anyways, take care. Have a great day. And if you're new to my channel, I don't normally do reviews on products. I usually just play games and do streams. And if you're one of my loyal that have been watching me from the start, I appreciate you, and we'll be back to playing. And if you're a subscriber that has played with me in the past, we'll definitely get back to playing. If not next week on a day or something, it'll be definitely the week after. So anyways, take care. Like I said, have fun, and we'll see you all later.